I will say it took us a little while to figure out innovation. It's nice to think that you could just sit down and say, oh, okay, we're going to create new things, but you have to create things that are meaningful to the customer and not just neat.
There's going to be moonshots that are riskier in your portfolio with potentially higher returns, but there are going to be things that are closer and adjacencies that are really going to fuel the expansion of the current business and organically fund some of these riskier projects. And so I think the second aspect of innovation that I emphasize is portfolio, making sure that it's balanced with the right kind of bets. An example of how we're thinking about process is just to streamline the time that something gets approved in the portfolio, where we have very strict screening criteria, and getting it into the market. One of the great things about Vivint is that in many companies you'd say, what's the take rate going to be in an internet project for a neighborhood in West Jordan for this product we're considering? Some people might think, well, I'll hire IDC, or I'll get market research, or I'll conduct market research. One of the great things about the company is I look at the table and I say, would the three of you go out in that neighborhood, knock on some doors, and come back with the market research information? They say, sure. 3 hours later, it's back. So I think the third challenge is process, and I would really shrink the process as much as you can. We only know one thing about our initial hypotheses around the new business. We're going to be wrong. And we're going to have to pivot 3 or 4 or 5 times. So how quickly can I actually get out of a conference room and get in front of a customer and get real market feedback? And that's something we're trying to do in each of our businesses.
Another tip I would say for testing and persistence and questioning thing is never test 2 things at once. It's very difficult to have 3 or 4 tests running simultaneous, because when it fails or succeeds, you don't know which factor did it. So I always really strive to test one thing at a time and then prove or disprove that, and then move on and test something else. But when you test multiple things at once, you're in trouble.
We have resources nowadays where you can, build up wireframes and really interact with something before you actually do it. And I think that's made it so that we can innovate faster in today's society. I don't have to build a physical building. In Google SketchUp or in some other program, you could build a building, you could walk through the whole building, you could see exactly how it functions and come up with some really innovative things without ever laying a brick. I think as an entrepreneur, it's very hard sometimes to stay focused. I think a lot of people have a lot of ideas. I think even as innovators, you have a lot of creative juices flowing, and to wrangle that can be difficult sometimes. And really, it's probably the difference between some really good entrepreneurs and some of the ones that have failed, because I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs have amazing ideas, but they have too many amazing ideas and they can never quite pick what they're doing, and they just don't stay focused enough, so they're never successful. You need to be able to stay focused. At the same time, you need to be able to look at outside opportunities, and if you feel like something's better, I always say you change your focus and you shift completely versus trying to do 2 or 3 things at the same time. And I feel like that's what we did at Omniture. When we realized small business wasn't where we wanted to be, we sold it. We didn't try and do small business and large business. We just sold that part of our company off and focused completely on the large business.